what we do here and how we help, and a little bit about their city council. But I just want to say, Robert Folsenwagen, thank you so much for putting this together. David Brashears for coming out and leading these fine young men. And I'm going to read these names so they're on the record. A.J. Simmons, you just wave your hand if I call your name so people see. A.J. Simmons, Colin Brashears, Hatch Meyer, Hudson Manhoff, Jack Randolph, Jonathan Folsenwagen, Scott Barham, and Sean Taylor. There you go. And I have to say this, Sean Taylor is the grandson of former Councilman Dennis Shingleton, so he was the only one that raised his hand and said he'd ever been in this council chamber before. So send your grandfather our best from here. Thank you. Thanks, Mayor.
Great. Thank you, Gwen. Appreciate it.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all for coming. Next is to Mayor Pro Tem Gina Bivens. Anything, Gina? Nothing. And now to Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. We just have a few announcements and also some updates on what we've been up to in the district. This first slide was me hanging out with our young professionals of the city of Fort Worth for the after hours mixer. It was really great to connect with our young professionals who do so much to make our city great. Thank you for the invite and for all the work that y'all do. On Saturday, I was able to join the Fort Worth chapter of Jack and Jill for their Mayor for a Day event. It was really great to speak with our young people about all kinds of things, including my role as a council member, and ways that we all can continue to make our city strong and prosperous. And it was really neat to see the innovative cities that they were building in the top right picture. That's their Lego city, and their ideas are really brilliant, and we took some back to our office. Next slide, please. We'll have a few events coming up. The first one is just a reminder that this Thursday, October 21st, from 6 to 7 p.m., we'll be having another listening circle, specifically a discussion on water. During this event, we'll be discussing the new My H2O program, water meters, cast iron pipes, while also learning a little bit more from our residents about your concerns relative to water. So hope you can make it there. If you can't, we'll also be recording the video and posting it on our social media at Jared Williams TX. And we'll also be observing CDC guidelines, and you can check out our social media for more about those guidelines. Next slide, please. We'll have another listening circle in November from 6 to 7 p.m. This discussion will be on all things related to transportation and public works. It'll be on November 4th at 6 p.m. and we'll discuss updates around traffic and infrastructure, speeding in the district, and much more. This will be at Hallmark Baptist Church on Reisinger in their chapel, and this one will also be recorded and made available on our social media for those who are unable to attend, and we'll also be observing the COVID guidelines at this event as well. Next slide. And then lastly, we will, on Wednesday, November 10th, we'll be having a WebEx community construction meeting for the Fort Worth Water Department Southside number 4 pump station. And this project is set up to be constructed just south of June W. Davis Elementary School in the Chisholm Trail Ranch neighborhood. The flyer on the touch screen has more information, and our office is also sending this out throughout the community. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Now to Councilmember Nettles. I'm sorry, Leonard. Go ahead.
Thank you. Just very quickly, I just wanted to remind everyone, if you hadn't heard, this weekend, October 23rd and 24th, out at Fort Worth Alliance Airport, they'll be hosting an air show, which is going to be incredibly exciting, and we thank Hillwood for putting it all together, and all the folks at Alliance. But you'll be able to see the Blue Angels, you'll be able to see the all-veteran parachute team, Air National Guard Band of the Southwest, the F-16 Viper demo team, U.S. Air Force A-10 Thunderbolt. So if you'd like to go and need a ticket, you can get one online at www.allianceairshow.com. That's it. Thank you.
Leonard. Councilmember Nettles?
Yes, so this first event was at the Clifford Elementary School visit with Alcon Foundation Resource. Basically, Alcon had worked together, next slide, with the Fort Worth ISD to provide glasses. And so when the mayor and all of us talk about education, it's important that not only that they can read with comprehension, but they also can read by seeing. And so we appreciate Alcon for doing this. That's located in District Number 8. It was a great event. A lot of kids were there. Next slide. At the medical center, Medical City Hospital, their admin award for Dallas Fort Worth went to their admin, Monica Smith. The CEO is there in celebration. I was able to go and celebrate her on that day. Next slide. Columbia Renaissance Neighborhood Social. They basically brought out the community together in the Renaissance where they have the senior living as well as mixed use affordable housing. The NPOs were there. The executive director was there. The next slide, they was playing dominoes, had opportunity to speak with the exec there. It was a great event. Kids came out and they got an opportunity to see what is next up for District Number 8. Next slide, please. This is the Fort Worth PD Central Division. I mentioned this last week and I will mention it again. October the 23rd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Morningside Middle School, 2751 Mississippi Avenue. We'll be giving, it's a coat drive, so we're asking all of you to come out and participate. If you have any, there's additional information at the bottom if you have any questions. And we can make this available on our webpage as well as our Facebook. The next slide. Advancing East Lancaster. We have a public meeting that's getting ready to take place. I believe it is on Wednesday, October 27th from 4 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can drop in at any time at the Meadowbrook Poly United Methodist Church, Fort Worth, Texas. Come out and be informed about what's getting ready to take place on East Lancaster. If you're not able to make it, it's a virtual meeting Thursday the 28th at noon, from noon to 1. And I believe that's all that I have.
Thank you, and Councilmember Beck.
So we broke ground on the first residential high-rise new construction in downtown to be built this past week. So really exciting news for that neighborhood in the southeast portion of downtown. Next slide. I had the opportunity to join Councilman Flores in the Henderson Street bridge opening. Next slide. I hope that you will join me this Thursday in the Fort Worth Library's Jazz in the Park with the Western Flyers and the Pascal High School Jazz Band. Next slide. Also coming up this weekend in downtown, we have the Coffee Festival. I like coffee, I know it keeps me running, so I'd invite you all to come downtown and take part of this great new initiative. Next slide. Coming up, November 13th, I'll be hosting a Know Your Rights Town Hall. We will have members from the NRLB, EEOC, tenants' rights groups, and our municipal courts will be offering a warrant forgiveness program as well as other city departments there with booths. So I hope that you can all join us there next month. And that's all for me.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I think that's all, Ron, from council presentations.
Presentations by the City Council, changes in membership on board and commissions.
Thank you, Melissa. Sorry, it's kind of... Sorry. So the first is we're going to turn to Mayor Pro Tem Bivens, District 5, for her board appointments.
Thank you, Mayor. I request your consideration to appoint and reappoint the following individuals to place 5 on various boards and commissions effective October 19th, 2021, with terms expiring October 1st, 2023. Those being appointed are Mr. Paul Kerpo to the Building Standards Commission, Mr. James Hook to the Urban Design Commission, and Ms. Angela Self being reappointed to the Pedestrian and Bicycling Advisory Commission. The respective applications and resumes are on record. That's my motion.
Thank you, Gina. I've got a second from Councilmember Nettles. Thank you. Any other discussion, council? Please vote. Motion passes. I'm going to turn to Councilmember Leonard Firestone for District 7 Board appointments.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to request the consideration to reappoint the following citizens with a term to expire October 1st, 2023. Mr. Edward Deegan to the City Plan Commission and CIAC Transportation Impact Fees.
Hello.
And Aaron
Yeah.
Thesman to the Urban Design Commission.
Thank you, Leonard. Can I get a second, Council?
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion, Council? Please vote.
No, I'm down here now. There ain't no topic.
Motion passes. And next is to Councilmember Beck, I think is what this says here. You want me to read this off once? Sorry.
It's just weekly, just
Okay,
weekly
I can do
business
that.
for the city.
So I would like to request your consideration to reappoint the following individuals effective October 19th, 2021, and with the terms expiring October 1st, 2023. Mr. Estes Tucker, Art Commission, Mr. Raul Pena, Art Commission. The respective applications are attached and resumes provided. Can I get a second, Council?
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes.
Presentations and/or communications from, oh, I'm sorry.
Now I'll turn to Councilmember Beck.
I would like to request your consideration to appoint and reappoint the following individuals effective October 19th, terms ending October 1st, 2023. Mr. Tom Hicks to the Aviation Advisory Board, Ms. Catherine Duffy to the Board of Adjustments Residential, Mr. Pedro Juarez to the Building Standards Commission, Ms. Mariana Fletcher to the City Plan Commission and Capital Improvements Advisory Committee for Transportation Impact Fees, Mr. Daniel Villegas to the Community Development Council, Mr. Cade Lovelace to the Historic and Cultural Landmark Commission, Ms. Andrea Garcia to the Library Board, Ms. Eva Bonilla to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, and the following reappointments. Ms. Angela Gaither to the Board of Adjustments Commercial and Fort Worth Alliance Airport Board of Adjustments, Mr. Richard Call to the Pedestrian and Bicycle Advisory Commission, Mr. Douglas Cooper to the Urban and Design Commission, and Ms. Kimberly Miller to Place 9 on the Zoning Commission and Fort Worth Airport Alliance Airport Zoning Commission.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Can I get a second, Council?
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes.
Presentations and/or communications from boards, commissions, and/or city council committees. First, we have the Park and Recreation Advisory Board Annual Report by Mr. Dan Villegas, the Park Board Chair.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you and good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening. My name is Dan Villegas, and as of a few seconds ago, I'm the immediate past chair of the Park and Recreation Advisory Board. But I'm delighted to be here tonight, take a few moments to give y'all a report, share our annual report from fiscal year 2021. And this list here, with the exception of myself, this is a list of the current folks that are serving on the Parks Board with me. And I just want to hit some of the highlights of the things that we have accomplished over the last year. Certainly one of the big ones was the completion of the Rockwood Park Golf Course Clubhouse. This was a 17,000 square foot clubhouse constructed at a cost of $7.7 million. It opened on May 12th, funded by the 2018 bond program, and that also included funds to renovate the on-site.
And we can't get a swimming pool.
And we held a grand opening for the new clubhouse on May 20th. We also acquired some additional lands for future parks. We've acquired some land for Cypress Lake Park in Council District 6. We've also acquired, that was 10 acres in the Summer Creek Ranch development. We acquired 9 acres at Lake Point Park, located in Council District 7. And that's in the Parks at the Boat Club development. And lastly, out in southwest Fort Worth, we acquired
The Boat Club
270
development.
acres of Rock Creek Ranch Park, and that's located near Benbrook Lake at FM 1187. And this was acquired to meet future community park needs in the southwest quadrant of the city. Some of our completed projects, finished works on the trails. Oakland Lake Park Fund Trail, funded by the 2018 bond program. That was the construction of an additional 4,000 linear feet, 6 foot wide trail and right-of-way sidewalk. We also completed a trail out at Lake Worth. Phase 1A was completed in March. That was a $2.4 million project funded by the Lake Worth gas lease funds, and it extends from Arrow South Park to Marion Sanson Park. And we got some other projects here. The Fort Worth Zoo creek drainage improvements were completed using funds from the 2014 bond program, Park Department gas well revenues, and stormwater and water department funding. Total budget of about $3.9 million. The project consisted of the construction of a floodwater detention wall, replacement of 300 linear feet of main and trails and landscaping. This was completed in August, and will utilize a portion of Forest Park as a floodwater retention, which benefits both upstream areas to the south and downstream within the zoo. And then the bottom picture there is the new Park and Recreation Service Center on James Street near Interstate 20. This project was completed in August. 64,000 square feet, $21 million state-of-the-art facility, houses the park department's South and Central Park Maintenance Districts, citywide mowing, trades maintenance, and small capital construction, graffiti abatement, and athletic fields maintenance staff, supplies and equipment, and all of those, everything consolidated into this one facility in South Fort Worth. Also during the course of the year, we were able to use some general fund pay-go funding to replace some playground equipment. 3 playgrounds out in the Acadia Park system. These were completed in October of 2020. And these pay-go funds are really important as a source of funding for the Parks Department so that we can make smaller improvements and repairs and maintenance and not have to use long-term big capital, use our bond program funding for those for these types of projects. And so it makes it a better fit and allows us to stretch those resources to bigger projects. We also operated our Camp Fort Worth Summer Day Camp. This year we had an increase in enrollment of 220% over last summer. Served a little over 1,300 campers.
$35 per week.
The program only went for 6 weeks instead of the normal 9 weeks because the Fort Worth ISD had extended their school year a little farther into the summer. So we had a condensed time to run our camp, but we got to serve a lot more campers, even in that short time. We also operated our mobile rec at four different sites, and those are listed there in the slide. Again, same kind of issue. We ran that for 6 weeks instead of 7 weeks. We offered swimming lessons, which were underwritten by the Rainwater Foundation, and were hosted at the Wilkinson Grimes Activity Center and at Texas Wesleyan University.
Swimming lessons, no pool.
So during fiscal year 21, the Park Board, we had our 12 regular meetings and 1 work session, taking action upon 10 recommendations to City Council. Some of the notable actions were included the 2021 standards of care for the youth programs. And we also recommended renaming the Lotus Marsh Boardwalk at the Fort Worth Nature Center in honor of Marty Leonard, who's one of our big supporters. Other endorsements were for public art project out at the new, soon-to-be newly constructed Diamond Hill Community Center. That artwork will be installed at the center, which is scheduled for completion in fiscal year 22. We also approved the city manager's recommendation for the fiscal year 2022 budget, and we did that in August, as well as providing our endorsement to the budget to the full council. And again, we certainly take these resources that y'all provide to us very seriously. We are grateful for those, and we try to put those to best use in serving our citizens. And just a couple more slides. We, as required of all boards and commissions, have to outline the issues and concerns that we'll be focusing on in the next year, and those are listed up on the slide. We just want to continue to invest and reinvest in our park system and do the best we can to deliver programs and services to our citizens, and of course trying to do it safely in a way that still takes into the effects of the pandemic. And lastly, here's our work plan for the upcoming year. Again, just focusing on the upcoming bond program and continuing our partnerships, continue working on the capital improvement programs, aquatics master plan, and just continuing to do all the things that we need to do to help serve our citizens. And on behalf of my colleagues on the board, I want to thank you for your support of our Parks and Recs department. And on a personal note, I just want to thank Councilwoman Ann Zeta, who appointed me back to the Parks Board in 2014. I really appreciate that. Thank Councilwoman Beck for allowing me to continue to serve the end of my term. It's been a wonderful experience, and I look forward to working with the Community Development Council.
Thank you, Dan, for your service. We really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Resolutions. A resolution reactivating the redistricting task force and charging it with responsibility for evaluating proposed district maps, conducting a public hearing on such maps, and selecting an initial district map for consideration by the City Council.
Thank you, Ron. We have a few speakers. Our first speaker is Bob Willoughby.
Oh, Bob. Well, then Bob will be down there fucking with these people every week. He ain't stopped yet.
Well, I want to say about this is what I've been saying about it for the last 5 years.
I told
4
you.
years,
Shit.
is that, I see I got y'all's attention real well. Thank you. All the task force meetings I've been to, they won't talk about Proposition 2. And that's worse than what Proposition 2 is, whether you vote for it, yes or no, is it being silenced. And as long as you want to keep this silence and you don't bring it out and share with everybody what Proposition 2 is, because in 16, when we voted on the charter to add 2 more council members, that charter was not properly advertised. Fort Worth Weekly agrees to that. It was not advertised. Now, I've been asking for 3 years. Just put it on the billboard, okay? Include the public. Ask if they want 2 more council members. Put it on the ballot. But you won't do that. You can't do that because they'll fail. And no one wants to talk about that. And what they won't talk about is less than 1%. Was all there was that voted on that. Less than 1%. And we're going to spend $200,000 for 2 more council members. That's okay. But there's 900,000 people that don't know anything about this. It's their money. And at least they should be notified by billboard. I mean, you got a beautiful billboard up right now that's costing the taxpayer. It says, "Welcome to Fort Worth, the modern West." That's not for us. That's to please these builders and developers to bring people into Fort Worth so we can grow more, you know.
God damn it, Bob.
Our tax dollars to do that. So anyway, if you run forward without putting this on billboards and back on the ballot about Proposition 2, this is just as big a scam as the red light camera scam was. It is. It's just as big, but not worse than red light camera. And the problem with the red light camera scam was, we came down here and we complained about that, and everybody knew it was a scam, and we had to go to the governor.
Just a reminder, we're talking about redistricting,
I
right?
want to say we got that out to the governor, but we wanted council to take it out, not the governor. We wanted council to, just like this, we want council to do the right thing. Put this back on the ballot and do it right. If you're not going to do it right, how many other things you do wrong? That's all I'm asking you. Has my time ran out, or did I miss it? Is it still going?
Still going.
Oh, here it is. Okay,
Still got time, Bob.
I bet I can find some more to say. Just give me a second. I bet I can too. Okay. But anyway, I've said it for 4 years. You know what? Here's the thing is, why would anybody ever from city council, because I ask both ways, if you don't want to put it on there, tell me why not. You know, I got it for you. 0 answer. You know, the premise, oh, there's 30 seconds. The premise of your job is to answer questions, and you don't do it. That's the premise of your job. How do you get away with that? But anyway, I appreciate it if you would really consider putting this on and include people, let them know. And if it passes, great. I'm not for it, but great, but everybody knows. But doing it like it is a sin, has nothing short than railroading it through, and there's no getting around it. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Our next speaker is Bruce Miller by phone.
Say I'm in city council meeting, I don't wanna talk
Hello,
right
Mr.
now.
Miller?
Call me back later, motherfucker.
Yes, sir. You're connected to the city council meeting. You've got 3 minutes, sir.
Okay, is the PowerPoint ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So Bruce Miller here for Citizens for Independent Redistricting.
Say, Bob.
Fort Worth. Thursday morning, the city council will be meeting with staff to discuss district maps submitted by council members. As you surely know by now, our group has supported the creation of district maps by an independent redistricting commission composed of qualified citizens who have been vetted by an objective evaluation
It's
process.
Charles, not
Not a
Chris.
group
Yeah, let's
appointed
start.
by
All right.
individual council members, as is the case with the city's redistricting task force. A basic tenet of independent redistricting is that council members do not be involved in the map drawing process. Let us see why. In the PowerPoint, we have reproduced district maps submitted by 3 council members to be considered at the special meeting on Thursday, and 1 map submitted by our group, which we understand from Mr. Costa will only be considered at a later date. So, first of all, it's worth looking at the geometry of the maps to see which maps favor compact, contiguous districts. So would you please scroll down, go to the next slide. Please go to the next slide. Hello, who's working the PowerPoint? I'm asking that you go to the next
The
slide.
slide with Mr. Chris Nettles is
Thank
online.
Very good. That's one, so the next slide. Now let's go to the one after that. That's by 1 councilman member. Can we go to the next slide, please? Can we please go to the next slide?
The slide with Mr. Williams is now reflected, sir.
Thank you. No, okay, all right. Now can we go to the next slide?
The slide with compact plan A is now showing.
Good. Thank you, because there's a time lag with my computer. Okay, so clearly, the citizens map stands out in the regard of compactness and contiguous districts, but one other does incredibly well. Second, consider which map conforms to the criteria set out by the law and the redistricting task force. The first criteria any set of maps must satisfy is that districts consist of nearly equal population. For municipal districts, the initial population must be within plus or minus 5% of the mean. Please have a look at the attached table of figures. So please go to the next slide.
Mr. Miller, your time has ended. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. And our last speaker is Thomas Torlankowski, please.
Thank you, Mayor Parker. It's good to see you back. I wanted to make a couple comments. Last week, I talked about those nameless, faceless members of the council that we don't know who they are, what they look like, and exactly which part of the city they represent. When I was growing up, there are 8 in my family. There are 8 of you on the council now. If 2 stepchildren came into our household, they would have to struggle for a while to make their place known. My suggestion with this redistricting task force, I agree with most everything that Mr. Miller and Mr. Byron Ellison and Mr. Jeff Harper and even what Mr. Fernando Peralta suggests, which is to integrate more citizens into the process. Since you're reactivating this particular version of a task force, consider having at least 2 additions that are proxies for the people that would be more objective about the establishment of those 2 new districts whereas you
Jesse
have
Taylor.
8 perspectives that are the current council members, but at least go to the step of having 2 people that would be at least one step removed, especially with the opportunity or the focus on the fact that we have one population in our city that is consistently underrepresented. So having another Latino or Hispanic voice on this task force would be more mindful of that population, whether they succeed in carving out a particular district or not. That's my suggestion.
Thank you, Thomas. That's the last of our speakers, council. Got a motion from Councilmember Beck and a second from Councilmember Nettles.
Second the motion.
Any other discussion, council?
I would just like to add one thing. Again, the maps that you see that was shown today are not final. This process allows each and every citizen of Fort
There they
Worth
go blowing
to
smoke.
draw their own map and submit it to the city of Fort Worth.
They don't
So
even
I
know.
encourage all of you, if you want to be a part of the process, don't talk about it. Get on the computer, draw your map, and submit it to the city of Fort Worth so that you can be a part of this process. So I encourage you to do that. Also contact Fernando's office and see how you
That
can be a
excluding
part
the
of
black
community
people, huh?
discussion that's gonna take place in the next couple of weeks and months. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Nettles. Good point. We actually have an active council drawing session that's happening on Thursday, a public meeting. So that could be helpful to citizens that are kind of curious about our discussions.
Oh,
We'll
they
be all
bullshit.
open and transparent, which is very important to each of us. With that, council, we can vote. Motion passes.
A resolution amending resolution number 5375-04-2021 and establishing amended procedures for redrawing district boundaries.
Mr. Willoughby, you're back up.
I'll make it brief for you, okay? That's the same thing. I've got 8 council members that don't answer questions now. Why do I want 2 more at 200,000?
Thank you, all. That's the last of our speakers,
Say-
council. Got a motion. for
Goddamn way to
resolution
go, Bob.
Move for approval.
and a second. From Councilmember Crane.
Second.
Any other discussion, council? Please vote.
Yeah.
Motion passes.
A resolution approving amendments to the bylaws of the Fort Worth Housing Finance Corporation.
Thank you, Ron. I've got a motion from Councilmember Crane
Move to approve.
and a second.
Second.
Any other discussion, council? Please vote. Motion passes.
A resolution authorizing application for Defense Economic Adjustment Assistance Grant and committing $1.2 million in city matching funds.
Thank you, Ron. I've got a motion from Councilmember Bivens
Move for approval.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion, council? Please vote. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Councilmember Firestone.
Yeah, just before we vote, really excited about this and the investment, really the long-needed investment for some facilities at the base. And I just wanted to recognize Captain McLean that's here this evening. Thank you, sir. Skipper, for being here, and Ed Sperlin as well. Thank you for being here. And thank you guys for pushing this forward.
Thank you both. Anybody else, council? Please vote. Motion passes.
A resolution ratifying the employment of the law firm of Lloyd, Gosling, Rochelle, and Townsend PC as outside legal counsel to provide legal representation to the city of Fort Worth and its Texas Commission on Environmental Quality Discharge Permit and authorizing payment.
Thank you, Ron. Got a motion from Councilmember Beck
Move to approve.
and a second.
Second.
Any other discussion, council? Please vote. Motion carries.
A resolution supporting the North Central Texas Council of Governments fiscal year 21 Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity discretionary grant application for the Tex Rail near South Side Extension Project.
Thank you, Ron. We've got a motion from Councilmember Beck.
Before I make the motion, I'd like to say that this is an amazing step forward, not just for the near south side, but for the rest of Fort Worth as we continue to move our commuter rail through the city and farther south. So with that, I enthusiastically move to approve.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And a second from Councilmember Bivens. Any other discussion, council? Please vote. Motion passes.
A resolution amending the city council rules of procedure to take into account newly approved calendar structure.
Thank you, Ron. And council, I think at this point we have to suspend the rules, correct? To take it up tonight and vote on that first, and then we'll vote on the resolution. Correct, Sarah? Okay, great. Thank you. So first we've got a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Bivens.
Move for approval to suspend the rules.
Thank you. And a second from Ms. Beck.
Second.
We can vote, council, on the suspension. Please vote. Motion carries. Now we'll vote on the resolution. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Gina. And a second from Mr. Nettles. Thank you. Any other discussion, council? Please vote. Motion passes.
MNC 21-0804, adopt ordinance to amend ordinance number 2434, 11/2020, and chapter 20, licenses and miscellaneous business regulations, article 10, business equity firms of the city code to reflect recommendations from the 2020 Fort Worth disparity study and codify current processes.
Thank you, Ron. I've got a motion from Councilmember Nettles
Move to approve.
and a second.
They don't
Thank
deny
you.
nothing, do they?
I think that was Jared or Melissa there. Please vote.
They approve everything except
Motion passes.
what the citizens want.
MNC 21-0809, approve the allocation of funds from the American Rescue Plan Act and authorize execution of a contract with CDFI Friendly America LLC to bring financing from one or more community development financial institutions to the city in support of business equity capacity building.
$3 million.
Got a motion from Councilmember Crane
Move to approve.
and a second. Thank you, council. Any other discussion? Please vote.
Somebody finna get a $3 million check.
Motion passes.
MNC 21-0810, approve allocation of funds from the American Rescue Plan Act for the Evans and Rosedale redevelopment and affordable housing project.
Thank you, Ron. I've got a motion from Councilmember Nettles.
That's $4 million.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I do. Bob Willoughby. There he is.
Yeah, that's $4 million.
Okay, on the affordable housing, same thing, I'm just gonna mention again, what we see a lot of is, all this affordable housing is apartment, townhomes, rent. It'd be nice if I see you guys put something on here, affordable, where people, you know, all the people that are involved in these affordable housings, including y'all, you probably own your property. Everybody that makes money off it own their property. They have roots and they're building something in the future. The only ones that don't are the ones that are living in it. And they can spend 20 years, and they get accustomed to it, they live there 20 years and they had nothing. And I saw one where after 27 years, it got so bad that they had to move the people out, and the person didn't want to leave because it became their home after 27 years. It was more than just a building that was run down. It actually became their home, so they picked up and moved. So, I mean, if you're buying.
Bob, we're gonna keep you on track here for Evans Rosedale, if you don't mind.
Okay, but this is about affordable housing, isn't it?
It's a stretch, but keep going.
Okay. Stretch, huh? Well, I heard one girl called Aaron talk about something that's totally off deal, but I don't care, that's okay. But no, the point is, it would be good if we saw affordable housing for low income that can purchase and own and pass down to their children or have something. That is the whole thing, and I never see that here. So it would be nice to see y'all work on something like that for the low income to buy instead of living in a cubic square while you take their money and pay for the homes, and these people take the money, pay for the homes that they're buying. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. That's the last of our speakers. Councilmember Nettles.
I had something to say, but it's not worth it. Move for approval with joy.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. And a second, Council, Ms. Vivens. Thank you. Any other discussion? Please vote.
Can't stand that punk motherfucker.
Motion passes.
MSC 210812, authorize execution of an economic development program agreement with Hope Global Properties LLC and or related affiliates.
Yeah, I'm finna start coming back down here showing out. $4 million, how many niggas don't get nothing? I'm finna start coming back down here showing out. Yeah, they got me fucked up. They down here passing out money, niggas can't get no money.
Thank you, Ron.
I'm finna get some niggas some money.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
And they
And a
just
second, Ms.
approving every
Vivens.
goddamn thing.
Thank you. Any other discussion, Council? Please vote. Motion passes.
MSC 21-0663, authorize execution of a 5-year tax abatement agreement with RAIMG LLC for the construction of a
And we
2-story
can't even build a
mixed-use
swimming
building
pool, man.
consisting of
They
a
down there
first
paying
floor
that
office
money.
space and 2 second-floor apartments on property located at 3113 Wayside Avenue in Neighborhood Empowerment Zone and Reinvestment Zone 6. And this is continued from our previous meeting.
Thank you, Ron. And to Councilmember Beck? Sorry.
Move to approve.
Thank you. Can a second, Council? Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes.
MNC 21-0803, approve Fourth Amendment to City Secretary Contract Number 53147 with Dr. Theron L. Bowman for consulting work associated with review of policing practices.
Thank you, Ron. We've got a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Vivens. And a second from Councilmember Crane. Second. Thank you. Any other discussion, Council? Please vote. Motion passes.
MNC 21-0811, approve allocation of funds from the American Rescue Plan Act and authorize execution of an interlocal agreement with the University of North Texas
Two
Health Science
more
Center
million.
to bring the TechStars Accelerated Program to Fort Worth.
Thank you, Ron. And to Councilmember Firestone.
What the fuck is an American Rescue Plan Act?
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you. And Councilmember Crane. Thank you. This is very exciting. I see Cameron Cushion in the audience. Cameron, thank you for being up here tonight and helping facilitate this awesome opportunity for Fort Worth that will pay dividends for generations. We appreciate you. And with that, Council, please vote. Motion passes.
MSC 21-0814, authorize allocation of funds from the American Rescue Plan Act to Child Care Associates, the Housing Authority of the City of Fort Worth, Texas, doing business as Fort Worth Housing Solutions, Fort Worth Area Habitat for Humanity Incorporated, doing
They
business
get
as
10
Community
million.
Habitat for Humanity. Authorize execution of related contract documents and find that the expenditures serve public purposes and that adequate controls are in place.
Thank you, Ron. We've got a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Vivens.
Use of ARPA funds, I move for approval.
Thank you. And a second from Councilmember Nettles.
Second.
God damn.
Any other discussion, Council? Sorry, who's in the, okay. I want to say something about this, and I want to thank staff. So there's been a lot of work around childcare and affordable housing for a very long time, and I think it's worth our residents understanding the way we're utilizing ARPA dollars in incredibly innovative ways, specifically to help early childhood infrastructure on a quality basis. This partnership with CCA has the potential to really help hundreds of families and children and really that are in crisis that need access to childcare and quality education before kindergarten. So I also am enthusiastic about tonight's vote. So thank you to city staff for really facilitating this. It's led by Fernando Costa. Fernando, I really do appreciate this. Thank you. With that, please vote, Council. Motion passes.
MNC 21-0816, ratify execution of grant agreement and accept the award of grant funds from the United States Department of the Treasury provided through the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 for emergency rental assistance and adopt attached appropriation ordinance.
Thank you, Ron. We've got a motion from Councilmember Beck.
Oh, they can scam that pot there. That's for rental assistance. Yeah, niggas can scam that money. That's
And a second,
29
Councilor
million.
Flores?
I got the link to that.
Yes.
Thank you. Please vote.
Yeah, that's 29 million.
Motion passes.
Niggas can scam
And
from.
we are now at public presentations.
Thank you, Ron. Our first public presentation is Bob.
Y'all see
Willoughby.
that as 29 million. I'm gonna show y'all how to scam that pot. Like the SBA loan money, it's a PP loan money. That's easy money to scam now. They down there passing out money, we got to steal money.
Neighborhood Association president got appointed to a board. So, I'll turn the sound up, please.
This is what you will see in the city news, and it is so wrong that they do not ask us, they just tell us like we are servants to them, and that we do not count. Council members were asked to share this information through the city news and the City Times before putting it on the agenda. The mayor and council could not do that. The mayor and council know they would not get public support. Besides, the mayor and council have no legitimate reason for rearranging the city council meeting. Times, the real reason for the change is because the local voter education program pushed to move the people from the bottom of the city council agenda to the top, in which took 5 months to do what could be done in less than 2 minutes. The mayor and council cannot let the public be heard at prime time 7 p.m. That is why they took away the 7 p.m. prime meetings to be less transparent. The City News and the City Times are being controlled by a mayor and city council that does not support sharing information with the public. What we should have seen posted in the City Times is this. Here are the new city council meeting times for your approval. The local voter education program is a program that is vital in exposing corruption in our city. And this is why it will not be recognized in the City News or the City Times. A clear trail of corruption between the John T. White Neighborhood Association that bent people without a hearing. And Michelle got the director of public engagement, to who we made a public complaint to the mayor and city manager, only to get no reply. And council member Gina Bivens, the ringleader. The John T. White Neighborhood Association, or the director of communications engagement Michelle got, and the council member Gina Bivens that don't answer questions can come on our program and clear themselves from these allegations. Anytime they choose to do, the door is wide open. The local voter education program can be used to protect employees and elected officials or to expose wrongdoing in our city. It is so important that the local voter education program be included in the City News, the City Times, and Spectrum Charter Cable Channel 190 to share real news about our city. Let the taxpayer know what is happening in our city. The local voter education program will be holding a press release on November the 9th at 5:30 p.m. in front of City Hall. For more information, go to our website, fwdistrict5.com, or join the local voter education group on Nextdoor.
Thank you, Bob. Our next speaker is George Childs.
That was genius, Bob. Boy, you getting good. That motherfucker getting good. Yeah.
My name is George Vernon Child, address number 742901 Travis Avenue, Fort Worth. On August 10th, I provided an excerpt from an article that read in part, quote, "Police unions often conflate the public interest with the private interests of police officers," unquote. Examination of the website of the Combined Law Enforcement Association of Texas shows that organization to be an exception to that part of the police union profile. There is no conflation with public interest because if the contents of the website are an indication, CLEAT has no regard whatsoever for the public interest. Where conflation is obvious is in the website, quote, "rights and interests," unquote, of CLEAT members. CLEAT members subject to actions ranging from a reprimand to trial for murder have the right to as high a level of what is optimistically termed justice as can be obtained. That's the law. But interests are not at all even close to being rights. They can, of course, become rights, and it is this use of this process that CLEAT most clearly shows through commission what its website shows through omission. That one of its principal reasons for being is to use to return to the website, quote, "legislative and political power," unquote. Power, power, power. That's what it's all about with CLEAT. This brings to mind the scene in the novel 1984 when O'Brien took a break from torturing Winston Smith long enough to tell him, quote, Officer power is power, unquote. By the way, this was preceded on the same page by O'Brien stating, quote, we are not interested in the good of others, unquote. Sound familiar? 1984 and 2021. At previous meetings, I have provided examples of the attacks on the public interest that these exercises in legislation and political power have led to. I will not countermarch over that ground tonight. That's for November. But first, next time, what happens when Cleet wants a police chief gone?
Thank you, George. Our next speaker is Jim DeLong, but I think he's on the phone. Is that correct?
Did he just say they want the chief gone?
Mr. DeLong?
Yes,
You have 3 minutes, sir.
thank you so much. Good evening. Our Tarrant County Sheriff, when addressing the Task Force on Race and Culture, said 80% of people incarcerated in the county jail are from fatherless homes. That's a staggering statistic that transcends race, socioeconomic lines, and geographic boundaries. Since the mid-60s, our country has spent over $23 trillion on attempts to improve inequities and lessen racism. Look at the social upheaval today. What benefit do we see from the expenditure of this excessive amount of money? Another point of view, there are other organizations like the Boys Club, Girls Club, YMCA, Fort Worth After School, Legal Pope Organization, local churches, plus many other groups that are involved in helping children increase their chances to live successful and productive lives. Can we as a city help these groups to succeed in a better way? Denzel Washington made some pertinent comments on these issues. He said, it starts in the home. If a father's not in the home, a boy will find one on the street. You can't legislate people liking each other. It starts in the home. By the time the system comes into play, the damage is already done. Here are some thoughts on impacting homes and bridging racial gaps. And I admit that this is an oversimplification. Make quality decisions to listen to, heed, and promote those who want to unite, build up, and peacefully bring people together. Don't give in to those who promote anger, hate, retribution, and who want to tear down. One of our Human Relations Commission's jobs descriptions is to promote and encourage communication between and cooperation of all groups interested in bettering community relations. Doing the above can go a long way to increase unity, acceptance, and respect among the peoples of our great city. A question is, do we have the resolve to do so? Do we want to continue doing the same things other cities are doing and getting the same lack of results? Or do we have the courage to step out, becoming the example for other cities to follow? I make myself available if any of you wish to discuss this further. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Jim. Our next speaker is Thomas Tonikasi.
As many of you know, I am the whistleblower at TRWD. I have to tell you that I got my first death threat on Saturday night. So in addition to be the whistleblower,
Trinity River Water District.
a few of the people up there have already heard when I presented the TRVA some of the issues that are involved. But you're probably aware of the contractor on those 3 big, beautiful bridges that took more than 2 times the amount of time projected, is now suing for an additional $25 million. I do not know if he has named the city of Fort Worth in the lawsuit. But here's the challenge I've had, and Mr. Cook knows. I visited with him after TRVA. I had a little bit of trouble finding Doug Rattenmaker and getting him to return a call. He did finally return my call because I had already done a FOIA request at TechStop for the contractor and seeking particular subcontractors that we clearly demonstrated are crooked at TRWD. It came back non-responsive. So when I got hold of Mr. Rademacher, he gave me the contract number at TechStop. At that point, I'd already done the same FOIA request with the city of Fort Worth that's supposed to administer the contract. Mr. Cook promised me that all records that were available from the city would be provided. That came back non-responsive. So having that contract number, I went back to TechStop and asked them the same request again. I met with a woman named Donna Fowler. She's the public information officer over there. She worked really hard to
Cook
locate
dancing
the
in his
documents.
seat.
It came back non-responsive. Somebody built those bridges, and somewhere there's a contract, and somewhere there's paperwork for what was now looking like $114 million for those bridges. I'm so upset that they started out projected at $59 million, and a lot of Fort Worth taxpayers' money went into those bridges. First point. Second point, with a minute left, is the district attorney, as you well know, issued letters of preservation of records to the 5 board members at TRWD. I don't know which ones of the board members are subjects of investigation, but some of them are. I can guarantee that. What is it going to take? Is the district attorney's public integrity unit going to have to send letters to each of you instructing you to get with your staff and preserve the records connected with this fiasco? I understand the public interest and the economic opportunity. I understand the amount of sunk cost, that $350 million coming from 8 different taxing entities. But somebody has to look into this, and somebody is going to be indicted at some point if the public and the officials cannot locate the records to find out how much malfeasance has actually taken place.
Our last speaker is Mr. James Smith.
Look like somebody getting saved, boy. Oh, here go this nigga with this shit.
Good afternoon, council. My name is James Smith. I live in District 8.
Oh, man, here go this nigga.
For 24 months, I awaited a trial for my neighbor, Tatiana Jefferson. In a little less than a month, all eyes will be on Fort Worth, Texas. Feel the pulse of your city. Like I said last week, and it seems like I was here yesterday.
It was last week,
I'm
nigga.
perplexed at the lack of concern for this case. I'm the oldest of my family of 100. And I used to have I had a grandmother that lived to be 99, my grandmother was 89. I'm only 64, but I'm the oldest of that 100 clan behind me. For 2 years, my clan has not had their Uncle James, or my kids haven't had their dad, or my grandkids haven't had their grandfather, because I'm committed to this cause. I don't know the outcome of this upcoming trial. Nobody does. I read an article the other day that the Star-Telegram was the official paper of Fort Worth. I'm going to ask you guys that when they start printing this trial, it's not the Tatiana Jefferson trial. I don't want to read that. It's not the Tatiana Jefferson trial. I don't want to read that. She has a mural, she has a street, she has a proclamation, she even has a funky fridge located on Campus Drive at Goodwill Center. Tatiana will be remembered in the city of Fort Worth. Not just on those incidences, but there's more to come. All good. This has taken a lot out of me, and I'm trying to stay the course. I'm not coming at you guys belligerently. This is serious. Again, I'll say, I'm here when you see me because my mother can't be. And if I look around me, her community can't be either.
You lying to
But
me.
I'm here, I'll be here. Thank you for your time. Accountability for Tatiana Jefferson. Thank you.
Thank you, James. We appreciate you. With that, council, our meeting's adjourned, and happy birthday, Wendy. Understand it's your birthday. Meeting's adjourned, thank you.
Say, Woods, your arms getting small. Yeah, you ain't getting big no more. Boy, they out here giving away a bunch of money. Yeah, nigga, you niggas don't go no motherfucker. Oh, you just can't holler out in the city council meeting to the big arm police officer, nigga. Nigga arm look like Tookie Williams. Yeah, nigga, your arm's getting small, nigga. Yeah, nigga, they down here passing out all the money. So all this, yeah, I gotta go look at this motherfucking American Rescue Plan and why this bitch got so much money. God damn, I'm talking about 10 million here, 4 million there, 3 million there, 5 million. Man, what the fuck is this American Rescue Plan? I got to go, nigga, do my research and study on here. And why it ain't no niggas? And why it ain't no niggas down here trying to get none of that motherfucking American Rescue Plan money, man? Shit. Yeah, nigga. Yeah, and I was in there being disruptive. Yeah, and I was in there being disruptive. Oh, smell like a pound of weed. Yeah, and I'm littering. Nigga. Yeah, nigga come right out of city council and get to the getting it, nigga. Yeah, get right to the getting. Get right to the motherfucking getting, nigga. Fuck you coming about. Get right to the motherfucking getting. What goddamn like that? Right to the motherfucking getting. I sure wanna ride out there and go get me some chili. Boy, that's gonna be a long ride. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, I'm riding, go get me some chili, got me fucked up. Yeah, I'm gonna go get me some chili. Yeah, I'm riding, go get me some chili. Got me fucked up. That's a nice little low ride, but I'm gonna make that ride, man. Fuck that.
Hey, babe.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Baby. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm finna go ride and get some chili, baby. I'll be home. I'm just now leaving the city council meeting. I'm finna go get me some chili and then I'll see y'all in a minute.
Okay, sweetheart.
Did I tell you, baby, I put a nigga in the hole today?
Yes,
I told you that I put a nigga in the hole and he finna go back there with the Mexicans and the white boys and his life finna be in danger.
Yes, you told me that.
Yeah, I'm so proud of myself, baby. I'll see you later, baby.
Okay, sweetheart.
Okay, baby.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye. She said, yeah, you told me that. Yeah, baby, I got a nigga put in a hole today. Say this boy say it just ain't been a good day for the rolling 5 Street Crip. Yeah, goddamn, me Crip Mac got exposed. And snaps went to the hole. What a hell of a day for the O's. Ooh, I'm a little tired too, man. I ain't lying, I'm a little tired. Well, y'all go on about your business now. I'm finna go over there on Instagram and go, stir up a little trouble on Instagram. Then I might get back to y'all on my way back from Dallas. Talk to y'all. See y'all later.